The house was quiet. Not a peaceful quiet, but the heavy kind. The kind where you could hear the hum of the refrigerator and the clock ticking in the hallway. A child sat at the kitchen table pushing a cereal bowl in slow circles. The milk was watery, the last of the box. He didn't ask for more. He had learned the sound of his mother's sigh, the way her shoulders dropped when she looked at the cupboard. That sigh was a language all its own. It said, "Not now." It said, "We'll see." It said, "I don't know." Financial insecurity in childhood isn't always about empty plates. It's about the silence that fills the space where an answer should be. Can we go on that school trip? Silence. Will we stay in this house? Silence. The ground beneath you isn't earth. It's thin ice. You learn to test it with every step. You become a translator of tension, reading the tightness in a parent's jaw, the extra hours they work, the hushed, urgent conversations that stop when you enter the room. The child learns a fundamental lesson. Safety is conditional. It can vanish, not through some grand disaster, but through a missed paycheck, an unexpected bill, a broken-down car. The world is not predictable, so you start to predict everything else. You try to control your needs, make yourself smaller, quieter, less of a burden. You feel the weight of simply existing, the guilt for needing new shoes, the shame when your friends want to stop for pizza and you have to say you're not hungry. This isn't just growing up with less. It's growing up within a constant low-grade alarm. Your nervous system is tuned to it. The alarm doesn't scream. It whispers. It's the background noise of life. Be careful. Don't want too much. Don't trust that it will last. Many of you listening know this soundtrack. You recognize that particular quiet. If this story is touching something familiar, tell us in the comments. Just writing, "I know that silence," can be a powerful thing. You're not just a viewer here. You're part of a conversation many of us needed for a long time. For the child in that kitchen, money was never just coins and paper. It was the emotional weather of the home. It was his mother's ability to smile. It was the guarantee of staying in his own bed. When the core need for security is tied to something as unstable as money, the mind builds a fortress. It starts drafting rules for survival. The first rule is vigilance. Always scan the horizon. The second is restraint. Never assume there will be more. The third is preparation for loss. Enjoyment feels dangerous because it softens you, and you need to stay hard to survive the next blow. These aren't conscious decisions. They are reflexes, carved into the psyche by experience. The child isn't thinking, "I am developing a financial trauma response." He is just learning how to breathe in a room where the air feels thin. He is learning to walk on that ice, listening for cracks with every single step. The goal is not to thrive. The goal is not to fall through. And that lesson, learned so young, becomes the blueprint for adulthood. The alarm system gets installed, and for many, it never gets switched off. That child grows up. The kitchen table is gone. He has his own apartment, his own job, his own money, but the blueprint remains. The alarm system is still running. It manifests in ways that, on the surface, might look like responsibility, or anxiety, or even strength. He checks his bank balance 3 times a day, not with calm assurance, but with a jolt of adrenaline each time. The number on the screen isn't just information, it's a reading on his safety meter. Is it enough? What if it's not? He feels a physical clench in his stomach when a subscription renews automatically. $5. It feels like a threat. He works. He works late, he takes on extra projects, he says yes when he wants to say no. The drive isn't just ambition, it's a compulsion. It's the need to build a wall between himself and that old, familiar silence. Every hour worked is another brick, but the wall never feels high enough. There's always the fear that something will come over the top. A medical emergency, a recession, a mistake. Spending money, even on necessities, can feel like a betrayal. Buying a new coat when the old one is threadbare requires an internal debate that lasts for weeks. The guilt is visceral. It feels like taking a resource from that old kitchen table, from his mother's tired shoulders. He hears the ghost of that sigh, so he wears the thin coat. He makes do. He convinces himself he doesn't mind. Then there's the opposite reaction. Some, when the first real money comes in, feel a dizzying loss of control. It's as if the dam holding back decades of want finally breaks. The spending is frantic, almost angry. It's a rebellion against the restraint that once meant survival. But the hangover is brutal. The guilt that follows is paralyzing. It confirms the deepest fear. You cannot be trusted with security. You will sabotage it, so you swing back to extreme restriction. The cycle reinforces the blueprint. The world of money is not safe, and you are not safe in it. Relationships strain under this weight. A partner suggests a weekend away, a simple, joyful idea. But his mind doesn't go to the hotel or the restaurant. It goes to the cost. It calculates, it worries. It sees risk where others see relaxation. He might say, "It's not a good time," or "Let's save it." The partner hears frugality. They don't hear the old alarm blaring, telling him that joy is a precursor to loss, that to relax his vigilance is to invite disaster. He sits in his own quiet apartment, the silence he now pays for, but it's not peaceful. It's the silence of a watchtower. He has the things he once dreamed of: stability, a full refrigerator, a roof that doesn't feel temporary. Yet, he cannot feel the ground beneath his feet. The ice has been replaced with solid floorboards, but his body is still braced for the crack. The psychological reality hasn't caught up to the financial one. The fortress was built to keep danger out, but now it mostly keeps him in, isolated with his fear, mistaking the echo of the old alarm for the reality of his present. The child's survival strategy has become the adult's prison. And the worst part is, from the inside, it still looks like safety. The mind can rationalize. It can look at a bank statement and say, "You are okay." But the body remembers. It holds the history of insecurity in its muscles, in its breath, in its pulse. This is why knowing you are financially secure isn't always enough to make you feel it. The feeling was never just about logic. It was learned in the nervous system. Think of a soldier back from war, jumping at the sound of a car backfiring. The war is over, but the body is still on the battlefield. For someone who grew up in financial insecurity, money is the car backfiring. A bill arrives, an investment dips, a friend mentions a job loss. The heart rate spikes before the brain can process. The palms sweat. There's a tightness in the chest. This is a trauma response. The body is reacting to a past threat as if it is happening right now. This shows up in subtle, exhausting ways. You finally take a vacation, a real one. You've saved for it. It's budgeted. Logically, it's fine. But on the third day, a strange restlessness sets in. You find yourself calculating the cost of every meal in your head, subtracting it from an invisible total. The sunset is beautiful, but you can't quite sink into it. A part of you is still back home, watching the bank account, listening for cracks in the ice. The pleasure has a ceiling. Your body won't let you go above it, or sleep. You lie in bed, and your brain, freed from the distractions of the day, decides to audit your life. It runs through every financial variable, every possible disaster. It's not productive planning. It's a ritual of anxiety. Your body is tense, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Even in sleep, the dreams might be of loss, of being chased, of searching for something you can't find. This physical memory also creates a powerful aversion to dependence. Asking for help, even when you genuinely need it, can feel impossible. It triggers that old childhood shame of being a burden. You would rather struggle silently, work yourself to exhaustion, than utter the words, "I can't afford that," or "I need support." Your independence is a suit of armor. Taking it off feels like risking everything, even if the person offering help is safe. The cruel irony is that this constant state of alert is meant to protect you, but it burns a tremendous amount of energy. It leaves you mentally and physically fatigued. You might achieve financial stability, but you can't achieve financial peace. The two are not the same. Peace requires the body to believe what the bank statement says, and the body learns through repetition, through new experiences. It learned fear through 1,000 small moments of tension. It can learn safety too, but it needs new evidence. It needs you to spend money on a meal and feel only the taste of the food, not the ghost of guilt. It needs you to see a lower balance and breathe through it, knowing income will come. It's a retraining, not of the mind, but of the gut, the shoulders, the jaw. It starts with noticing. Where do you feel the fear? Is it a knot in your stomach? A clench in your hands? Just naming it, "This is my body remembering," is the first step in telling it. The memory is real, but the emergency is over. So how do you begin to rewrite a blueprint that was drawn in fear? It doesn't happen by simply telling yourself to relax. You can't argue with a survival instinct. The change is slower, gentler. It's about building new experiences, brick by brick, that prove to your nervous system that the old rules are outdated. It starts with the smallest possible things, not with buying a car or taking a lavish trip. That's too much, too fast. It starts with a coffee. You buy a coffee from a cafe, not because you need it, but because you want it, and you sit there. You drink it. And when the guilt or the anxiety rises, that familiar voice saying, "This is wasteful, you shouldn't," you don't fight it. You acknowledge it. You say to yourself, "There's that old feeling. It's trying to protect me. But I am safe. This coffee is a choice, not a threat." You let the feeling be there, but you don't let it make the decision. You finish the coffee. You feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. This is a new piece of evidence for your body. Pleasure did not cause a catastrophe. You do this with time, too. You take an hour on a Saturday and you do nothing productive. You don't monetize the hobby. You don't optimize the relaxation. You just sit or walk, and you tolerate the restlessness. You are teaching yourself that your worth is not tied to constant productivity, which was just another form of building that safety wall. Another brick is in creating clear, visible safety nets. For a mind trained in unpredictability, vague savings aren't enough. You need to see the walls, so you name your savings accounts. Emergency fund, 6 months. Car repair fund, peace of mind fund. You look at them. You make the security tangible. This isn't hoarding. It's providing concrete proof to the scared part of you that you have prepared. You are responding to its fear with action, not just words. Then, there is the practice of sharing. This is one of the hardest, because it touches the core wound of scarcity. You give something away, a small amount of money to a cause, buying lunch for a friend. You do it consciously. You feel the internal resistance, the pull to clutch everything tight, and you do it anyway. You are proving to yourself that you have enough to share, that your resources are not so fragile that a single act of generosity will topple them. You are breaking the spell of scarcity. This work is quiet. It's not dramatic. There will be days you fall back into the old patterns, checking your balance compulsively, canceling plans out of fear. That's okay. The blueprint wasn't drawn in a day. It won't be redrawn in one. The goal is not to become someone who never worries about money. That's not realistic. The goal is to change the relationship, to turn the constant alarm into a manageable alert system, to turn the fortress into a home with a door you can choose to open. You are gathering proof, slow and steady, that the ground can be solid, that the ice has melted, and with each small act you are whispering to that child at the kitchen table, it's different now. We have what we need. You can put down the weight you've been carrying. You can learn a new kind of quiet. He stands at his own kitchen window now, years later. The silence in the house is different. It's not the silence of waiting for a crisis. It's the silence of a regular Tuesday evening. The refrigerator hums. The clock ticks. But the sounds don't carry the same weight. He notices this. It's a conscious noticing. He paid a bill online today. He felt the brief, familiar clench in his stomach. But this time, he placed a hand on his chest. He took a breath. He said, "It's just a bill. The money is there." The clench softened. It didn't vanish, but it didn't take over. This is the new work. Not the absence of the old feeling, but a different response to it. The feeling is a guest now, not the landlord. He still saves. He still plans. But the compulsion has eased. The savings account is a tool, not a life raft. He looks at it monthly, not hourly. He recently spent money on something frivolous, a beautifully made leather journal. The old voice whispered about waste, but he wrote the first page in it. He felt the texture of the paper. The pleasure was simple, clean. It didn't feel like a betrayal. It felt like a gift to a person who had worked hard. It was an acknowledgement that his life could contain things that are just for beauty, just for joy. The most profound shift might be in how he sees his own past. He doesn't resent the child he was, translating sighs and walking on ice. He feels a deep compassion for him. That child was brilliant. He built a system to survive an unstable world. He was a strategist, a vigilant guardian of his own safety. The problem wasn't the child's strategy. The problem was that the world required a child to build such a fortress in the first place. He is not erasing that history. He is integrating it. The vigilance can become thoughtful planning. The restraint can become mindful spending. The hyper-awareness can become gratitude for the stability he has built. The old blueprint isn't torn up. It's been annotated, revised. New lines have been drawn in a different color. Lines for trust, for measured risk, for softness. He will probably always be someone who thinks about money, but the thinking is slowly moving from a place of fear to a place of stewardship. From, what if I lose it all? To, how can this resource support a good life? It's a subtle but monumental shift. The goal is no longer just to not fall through the ice. The goal is to walk on solid ground, to feel the sun, to sometimes even run, just for the feeling of it. This journey isn't linear. Some days the old alarms sound louder, but now he knows they are echoes. He knows the difference between a memory and a present danger. He is building a new kind of security, one that lives not just in a bank account, but in his nervous system, in his breath, in his ability to sit in the quiet and feel, finally, that it is peaceful. If this story resonated with you, you're not alone. This channel is a space where we talk about these hidden psychological scripts. If you want to join this conversation as it continues, consider subscribing and tapping that bell. It's a simple way to make sure you don't miss the next chapter, wherever your own story goes from here.